I was 16. Okay, I dropped out of school. All right, I used to unload these tankers. There's the culprit. Notice the green things on top. They re-engineered it after the incident. Okay, so what happened with the incident was, notice how they've plugged up the bottom of these. All right, there's one there. You can just see it there. All right, there used to be a gate valve there. It's a 4-inch pipe. It takes 1 hour to pump 46,000 litres into one of these tanks. The petrol tankers that you see in Singapore hold 30,000 litres. They're one pulled up this one Tuesday morning. I remember it. Okay, heating oil came in midday. No, it came in about 10:30, 10 o'clock from the night before from Adelaide. Heating oil, and so I was asked, Neil, look, can you open up the valve on that side? And my partner said, I'll open up the other side. Okay, so I went and opened up the valve on one side. My partner did not open up the valve on the other side. So you can imagine they're pumping the oil in. It fills up one side, okay, 22,500 litres. And what happens? It's not going into the other side, so where does it go? Up the top. It starts spitting out the top for 15 minutes. Oh. And by then I've gone to lunch. I come back from lunch. Neil, you're fired. Actually, that was a real firing. Okay, it was very direct. You're fired. All right. And I thought, wow, this is the worst day of my life. This is the worst day of my life. But fortunately, I had a job selling insurance the next day. See, if anything fails, become an insurance salesman. But later on, I won't tell you, and if that fails, then become an academic, all right? But that's later in my story. I did start selling insurance, but guess what? After 2 years, there's me. I did sell insurance. Serious, this is really true, all right? It's hard to believe this, all right? That's me. Look, don't you like the colours? Aren't they very stylish? Right, you know, right? All right. All right, nice tan. I reckon we could bring this style back in, all right? So I could dust down the suit. I reckon I could fit into that suit. Now, okay, so there's me, all right, and there's the office up here. This is in Mildura. It's just a small country town, 5,000 kilometres west of Sydney, okay? And anyway, after 2 years, the director said, no, Neil, look, you know, I think you need to move on. And, you know, I think you're not really cut out for insurance. You know, you've heard that, right? I don't think you're cut out for this. All right, so by then I realised, okay, I can't do undergraduate degree. Why? Because I dropped out 2 years before matriculation. I dropped out 2 years before year 12. What am I going to do? Well, go back and do diploma. How many of you know of friends that are doing a diploma because or they're doing a diploma degree after matriculation because they couldn't get into university? Anyone know? I'm so encouraging of that path because I took that path myself. Okay, so I love to encourage students that just because you don't get into university, it doesn't mean it's the end of your life. Because I've seen it happen to my own self. So I hope to talk to other universities in Singapore about that. So I'm talking to all the polytechnics about giving this talk to students to encourage them. I want to be encouraging because 2 years later, I ended up becoming the top in the class in that 2 years because by then I had some kind of resolve. Well, a little bit of resolve that I wanted to be an accountant. And so I just studied and studied and studied, and because I knew what I wanted to do. I failed at in the petrol business, I failed in insurance business, and then finally I get to go to study again. Well, that 3 years out, that really had that pepped up demand to actually focus, and I was able to execute. Okay, but for many of you, many of you have not had that 3 year, you know, hiatus where you actually gone and sort of been pushed out of that fast track. You're all on a fast train. How many of you feel as though you're on a fast train, and if you get off just to have a rest and you get back on, the train has already left? You feel like that's yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so luckily for me, I've experienced that and managed to get back on the train. Okay, I want to encourage you that that's possible. Okay, because there's something more important about where you're going, and it's part of your dream. It's not where you get to at your age 30 or 35 or 40 and a direct comparison with your peers. Okay? In the end, that really doesn't matter. What matters is what you're happy doing. We'll come back to that. University, I ended up becoming the best graduating student with an economics major. Wow! Remedial English in 4th form, dropped out 3 months in 5th form because he didn't have confidence in passing exams. And now, best graduating student with economics major. Wow! Well, at a big physical cost. Because what you don't know is that I had, in my first year, I was so nervous about failing that I ended up getting more A's than I expected. How many of you are so nervous about it and in the end you get A's because you actually study even more? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, all right? But I got a duodenal ulcer. Do you know what that is? A duodenal ulcer is stomach pain where the acid from your worry coming from your brain goes into your stomach. It secretes more acids, and you have to take stuff like Mylanta and Tagamet every day for the whole term of my college, because I was just so worried about failing, you know. So anyway, I ended up getting over that, fortunately. But here's what happened at the end. How many of you fear interview rejection? Well, what I say is do 1,000 interviews. I got 22 rejections before my accounting first accounting job offer, including a rejection from Arthur Andersen. I had a second interview with Arthur Andersen. How many of you know Arthur Andersen? They were around, but after Enron they're not around anymore. Okay. Then I also got a second interview with Coopers and Lybrand, now part of PwC, and didn't get that job. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, best graduating student, but they really see that, okay, I'm sort of 3 years older than everyone else, you know, and I'm thinking, you know, doubt starts to seep in then. And then suddenly I did get an offer from Man-Judd Chartered Accountants working in taxation. So I was very lucky, Man-Judd Chartered Accountants. But then I started working in tax and I'm thinking, oh, taxation, do I really like this? You're sitting at a desk all day just doing tax. Maybe if I was in audit, I'd go out to clients, I'd enjoy it. But after 18 months, I was still searching. I was still searching for my dream. And the stuff that kept on festering in my mind was being a motivator, being a speaker. Public speaking was my greatest fear. Yeah, fear, greatest fear. How many of you got fears like that? Probably. Okay, right. I want to be a public speaker, motivator. You know, listening to many motivational tapes where I was trying to sell insurance for those 2 years where I didn't sell insurance. Yeah, fat lot of good that did, didn't it, right? Okay, but what I suggest, have a listen to The Strangest Secret. Just Google that, listen to it. You listen to that every day for the next 10 years, wow, that would change your life just on its own. The Strangest Secret, okay? That was recorded over 45 years ago. And it's the most purchased audio speaking recording in history. All right? We're not talking about platinum records of you know, Lady Gaga and all that. We're talking about the equivalent of a speaking audio. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, recorded back in the 1950s and 60s. He was a major radio announcer around that time. But this is amazing. It just goes for half an hour. Just listen to it. You'll listen to it again and again and again. It is catchy, all right? So take away that. My fourth job after Man-Judd, they sat me down because, look, when you work for an accounting firm or you work for a professional organisation, they work out very, very quickly whether you fit or don't fit. They're not going to keep you around if they see sort of vibes that this person really doesn't fit. And they'll bring you in and say, look, you know, we really think that you've got a better career elsewhere. Let's talk about that. And so at the time, I had that chance to go to the University of Melbourne. I'm thinking, yay, I get my first chance to face my primary fear, and that is speaking in front of people. And I get to do teaching. Wow. Okay, so I become a tutor. 1990. Great. And so here's the other thing I want you to take away. Say yes to get out of your comfort zone. Say yes before you're 100% sure about an opportunity. Most of us, and students come up to me often, oh, should I take this job or this job? I'm not 100% sure. Have you ever heard that before? I'm not 100% sure. Well, here's the facts, ladies and gentlemen. You'll never be 100% sure about opportunities, about growth opportunities. You can never be 100% sure. Long as you, for some of you, maybe 60% or 70%, good enough, then go for it. That's my advice to you. Don't wait to get 100%. Oh, I've got to check with mum and dad. I've got to check with someone else. I've got to check someone else. And you've got to do all these checks and suddenly the opportunity's gone. You've got to check with yourself first. All right? Trust in yourself. All right? So, when was the last time you said no to an opportunity? What I'm saying is take a chance. And this is what happened. 6th of October 1989, the lecturer sent... Remember, I was just tutoring a class. Like, anyone can be a tutor. You can be a tutor in front of 20 students. Why? Because it's everything is... Okay, the tutoring, you just got to go through these exercises, and it's an accounting class, so you just go on a board, 1 + 1 = 2, and 2 + 2. You just go through the emotions of going through the answer. Okay, these days they're just handed out over the internet. They don't do those tutoring. So I was a tutor. It doesn't really mean I was a public speaker. Do you know what I mean? But it was a starting point, and then that happened on October the 6th, Friday 1989, Cynthia Wilson, hey, Neil, she was the lecturer in charge, would you like to give the lecture to 350 students on Monday? This is on a Friday. And I said, okay. Then I just hung up. And I'm thinking, Neil, what did you just do? I just said yes without even thinking, because I somehow back into my mind I said, the only reason why I've come to the university is I want to develop my public speaking skills. All right? So that had a greater bearing in that just saying yes, rather than all these doubts that come in. Oh, let me just check, I'll get back to you. Oh, that's the last thing you do, all right? I said yes, bang. Wow, that weekend, I don't know if I got much sleep. But I worked all day Saturday and Sunday. I practiced, and I came into the lecture and everything was fine. And then the rest was kind of history. I ended up doing more after that. But that initial change of a career for you will happen one day. And you just got to say yes before you're 100% certain. That's why it's so important to keep reminding yourself what your dream is. Because doubts will come in when the opportunity comes. You say, oh, all right. Can you just give me 24 hours to get back to you? Can I get back to you? All right? What is that? Why do you really need to get back to someone? You don't really, if you know what your dream is, okay? It's either in alignment or it's not, okay? So that's the big thing about, no, that's why the mind wizard is so good, because it's reminding you of your dream every day. When that opportunity comes, then you say yes straight away. It's not about 100% yes. It's say you just know it's in alignment. You don't know everything to do, but it's in alignment with what you want to achieve. Okay? I remember my fears were speaking in public. Okay, I overcome that by saying yes. The second fear was actually, what was my second fear? Was passing exams. So I thought, okay, I didn't really like accounting because I had to do a professional year, and then, oh, there's more exams. I want to keep away from that. Well, suddenly when I go to the University of Melbourne, I had to actually study more exams. So sometimes I thrust myself into things that actually forced me to face my fears. So I'm here where I am today because I actually faced my fears rather than ran away from them. Okay, so find out what your fears are and then face them head on. Don't hold back. That's what I'm saying here. Now, back in 1991, Boss Peter Brunel, great guy, he's passed away, but great guy, he said, Neil, this is another secret firing, okay? Neil, I think you should stick to teaching. You are not cut out to do research. You are not cut out to do research? This is after 2 years at University of Melbourne. I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to stay around in academia, I've got to do research. And then 2 years in that, a professor says, 2 years before that, oh, Neil, you're not cut out for taxation. 2 years later, you're not cut out to do research. Wow, what am I cut out for? Okay, all right? Just so, you know, I'm a cut out from the back of a Kellogg Wheatie packet or something, all right? Anyway, now that was it. When that happened, when he said, you're not cut out, I finally got my resolve. Remember what I said earlier today? Some of you, it's going to take you 10 years to find your resolve. Some of you might take 15. Some will take you 6 months. I said, that's it. No more. I am actually going to be successful at this course of action that I have chosen. No more. That's it. And by then, I had my resolve. Okay? It took by the 5th job to get that resolve. Okay? Hopefully it doesn't take that long for you, right? But that's my resolve. And my resolve was, finally, I got the resolve that, okay, I need to find my PhD topic and then overcome this war through massive action, and then I get the results. And that's the other takeaway. If you want to be successful at something, all right, for some of you it's going to come very, very easily. But if you start with the expectation that I've got to do 10 times more than everyone else, then you're not going to be disappointed. You with me? But if you're going to say, I want to get success, but I don't want to take any more effort than other successful people, then you're not going to make it and you're going to be disappointed. But if you have the mindset, I've got to do 10 times more, and you just work with that mindset, you'll never be disappointed. And you'll find that you will make it. Okay? So don't use the effort of others as your benchmark. Do 10 times more. Okay? And that's what I did. The trip to China in 1990, 1991. All right? I'm serious. I've got photos to show you. All right? Okay? Real trip. That's in Guilin, Sanchai, Jiatencha, Guangzhou. All right? Tiananmen Square. Okay? Look, Summer Palace, picking up ice. Okay? All right? Lots of good stuff. And even then, I'm trying to think. I'm searching around for 6 months to find my PhD topic. Because I came back from China, I think I've got 2 choices. I can come back as a PhD professor, or I can come back as an English teacher. Which one do you think gets paid better? Exactly. So that's why I knew I had to do a PhD, but I didn't have my topic. But then I came across a working paper on national culture written by Graham Harrison from Macquarie University back in, this is 1992. 1991, and I thought, wow, I finally found it. I found my topic. And guess what? With that resolve, you know how long it takes to do a PhD? 6 years part-time. 6 years, no, 6 years full-time. Do a PhD, okay? I did my PhD 4 years part-time. All right? So how can I do that? Because I kept on getting pushed out the petrol. Insurance, no, okay? Accounting, no. Finally, you're not cut out to be a researcher. I finally had resolve and said, that's it. I'm doing this and I'm going to do whatever it has to take to be successful. And I started that in 1992. In 1995, I published a single-authored paper in the top refereed international journal, and that person, Peter Brownell, that told me 4 years earlier, Neil, you're not cut out to do research, he told me at the end of 1995, Neil, you proved me wrong. Wow. So how can a school dropout, okay, no English, remedial English, primary school, what was it? Speech therapy training. Wow, you know, so underperforming in many areas that you need to be a top academic, right? Can do a PhD in 4 years. It's because of resolve. It's a resolve. I was just so focused for that 4 years. 4 years times 365 days times 24 hours. And just that resolve. So I surprised myself. And then I went to City University of Hong Kong. I got tenure at City University of Hong Kong in 1996. So I started there 9 years later, I got tenure. That means I could be there forever. Okay? I could be there today. Just sit in my chair and be that professor that you're going to see boring. And you cannot do anything about me because I've got tenure, even though I get bad teaching ratings. And I can be that professor. Turn to page 291, please. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? I could have been that professor there today at City University of Hong Kong. But I had other plans because I still remember my dream. My dream was to be top speaker, to be a motivator. And I'm thinking, Neil, You're not going to retire yet. You haven't finished yet. And so 1 year later, after giving tenure, guess what? After getting tenure, guess what I did? I gave it up. I gave it up. And a lot of people say, Neil, you're crazy. You're crazy. I said, no, I'm just starting my life. I've got more things to do. I gave it up because I wanted to achieve more. I found out my resolve, and I want to keep growing. Why do you want to stop? I proved that I can do a PhD in 4 years and then suddenly get tenure and then retire for the next 30 years and just be that professor that students hate? No way. Okay, so I don't know anyone that's given up tenure. All right, any professor that has given up tenure. Okay, I did. They went to Hong Kong University. I was there for 6 years. I didn't get tenure there. That's fine, because I'm here, which is fine, because in the last 6 years I'm 10 times better in many dimensions because of the path that I've taken. It's the path less travelled, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you do what I did in 4 years of the PhD? You do 10 times more than what the average PhD student does. Average PhD student in 6 years may present 3, 4, 5 times. How many times did I present? I've listed all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 21 times in 4 years. That's what I'm saying to you. Don't set the expectation that, oh, you want to be the same as your peer. Okay, I need to just perform exactly the same. No, you 4 times it, you 5 times it. You've got to set your own expectations. You've got to set a higher bar than anyone else. And then it's you that should be disappointed, not other people that will let you down. Okay? So why did I present so many times? Why? Because my greatest weakness was exams, but I really didn't have to do exams PhD, right? You sort of avoid that, right? You just study, do research, right? There are a lot of PhD students in the US that just keep on, oh, 1 more year, just another extension, and they're enjoying their life. You look at PhD students here, they're enjoying their life, okay? Because it's all stretched out. Okay, what I'm saying is, why do you need to stretch out? Why do you need to study what you study in 3 years? You can do it in 18 months. You can do it in 12 months. You're just in an institutional framework that says, thou shalt do your degree in 3 years. You've been institutionalized, we've been brainwashed that that's how long it takes. No, it doesn't. You can learn all you learn in half the time, a quarter of the time, if you have what? Resolve. And resolve is that pent up, that's it, no one's going to stop me, this is what I want. Okay? I'm talking too much. Look, there's my publication, there's friends, that's me, we're hiking, that's City University, Hong Kong. Okay, so here in summary, take a chance, say yes to opportunity, find the catalyst, climb the walls, work on your weakness, present. That's what I did. So go back to your, quick, time is nearly up. Go back to, we're up to E, ignite your excitement. How do you ignite your excitement? We're back to networking here. Rituals, I'm excited about. Recall, peak flow process. I told you briefly about that. Recall that time where you were totally excited, but you've got to try and recall that every day and bring it with a physical movement or something, or you click your hands, or you clap your hands, or you just make a physical movement to just switch your brain. It's just reminding your brain that, yes,